How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing well today. It's been a beautiful day today. It's really nice. I haven't had a chance to really be outside much, doing some other things. I'm sure like all you, there's times where you have to go and pay bills. That's always fun. That's always exciting. Or just do things inside the house some. But it is a beautiful day today. Today I just want to share John chapter 9, and I think it's just a really amazing story, and I think it's a story that should really give us all hope. So if you want to look at your Bible at some point today and look at John chapter 9, what it talks about here is it talks about Jesus, and he's walking by, and all of a sudden he sees this blind man. And the disciples notice this blind man, and they ask this question. I want to just read the question to you, and I just want to kind of talk about this situation, because I think it should be a situation that should give us all hope. And in verse 3 here, it says, Jesus answered, "It is not this man who has sinned or his parents, but the work of God might be displayed in him." Now, so the disciples' question was, is it his fault that he's blind, or is it his parents' fault? Why has this man been born blind? And it almost seems like they may have already known a little bit about this man. Maybe it's somebody that they've recognized before, or have seen in the community there, but they know he's blind, and they're asking the question, who sinned? Who did wrong? Why is this person blind? And God's response to them is, well, it's nobody's fault. Well, wait a second, why is he blind? And I think there's a lot of things I want to encourage everyone that you may ask, why did God give me this? Why did God cause these things, bad things, to happen in my life? And we should all be encouraged, because it's not just because, we've sinned, or maybe our parents did something in our past or their past. A lot of times the reason why we are given things in this life that are difficult or hard to understand, like this man being born blind, is because God's glory can be displayed through that. God's glory can be displayed through our difficulty, our struggle, our, things that we're not happy with. Most of you know I was born with cerebral palsy on my left side. I'm not happy about that. I grew up kind of bitter towards God a little bit, because I didn't understand why he didn't want to heal me. And there's many people that have things that are wrong with them that they're not happy with. Maybe you're not happy with your looks. Maybe you're not happy with why God, why did you make me look this way? Or God, why do I have to deal with this in my life? Why do I have this struggle in my life? Why do I have this hardship in my life? A lot of things we didn't ask for, right? But Jesus says this clearly. He says, neither him nor his family nor his parents have sinned. This has been given to him so that the glory of God can be revealed in him. And through the course of this story, after he's healed, this blind man becomes a great witness for Jesus. If you read the story, it's just, like I said, it's an amazing story of how God can use anybody. And he's using this blind man to now speak for him and become a teacher. He's actually going to teach the Pharisees and the religious leaders about a relationship with God, and that God's able to do the impossible. And it's another thing too to think about, that would they have taken it seriously if this man hadn't been born blind since birth? Like if he just lost his eyesight last week, they'd been like, oh yeah, maybe something mysterious happened and he received his sight. But no, this man was blind since he was born. And so because of that, being born blind, all of his life they knew him in that community. They knew who he was. And so when he receives his sight, there's confusion. It's like, well, how'd this happen? Is that even the same guy? So there was confusion. They were like, some people were saying, oh yeah, that is the guy. And then other people were saying, no, that can't be him. That can't be him who received his sight. I know him. And see how powerful that is? How if it was just a week or a month or a year, that Jesus wouldn't be glorified in this situation, that God wouldn't be glorified in it, if it was just a small fix, or if it was just a moment of time. But because they knew who this person was for all these years, they were mystified. How in the world did this happen? See, that's how God works. And he's not just one of those people that sometimes we have faith healers that we don't know if they're legit or not, because they could have brought somebody into the stage and they could have received healing. And I'm not saying that healings don't happen like that, but I'm saying that there are people that trick people, right? There are people that will do things to make people think something and try to add some trickery to it to make them think that they are healed in some way when they're just being fake. But there's no way to fake this. There was no way to fake this situation, because everybody in the area knew that he was born blind. And so it goes down on the story, if you continue to read in chapter 9 here in John, that what's taking place now is that they have an investigation. They're investigating. They're like, we're going to get to the bottom of this. So they bring the parents in, and they're asking the parents questions and saying, is this your son? And they're like, yeah, that's our son. Was he born blind? Yeah, he was born blind. And they're asking, well, how did he receive his sight? How did this happen? And they're like, we don't know, because they're scared. They're kind of intimidated by the whole process. And they're like, he's of age. He's old enough. So this was not somebody that was a young person. This was somebody that had been born blind for quite a few years. And again, that gives us hope. Because you may not see God using your situation right away. And you may feel like that, man, I was given this and I don't know what to do with it. And I don't understand why I'm having to go through this period of my life where I'm struggling. Can God use that? Can God use the years of you going through a struggle? And I want to tell you, he can. He can use the difficulties that you face throughout your life. And it may seem like years, it may take years. But then God can do something amazing with your life and do something to impact people. And I don't know about you, but to me, even not that I want to be blind, not that I want to have any of the situations that I have in my life per se, but I do want to glorify God. I do want to bring glory to his name. I want to make a difference. And if it takes some things going on in my life that I don't really want to bring him glory, because the amazing thing about this story too is that this young man, or this man who has been born blind, is now an evangelist. Because in the story as it continues, he represents Jesus, and he represents him well, because he speaks back to those religious leaders and says, wait a second, you're saying this person isn't from God, but we know that a sinner can't be doing godly things like this for me to receive my sight. And you're confused at who he is. All I can tell you is that I see now. I once was blind, but now I see. And so Jesus uses this, or allows this blind man to be a beacon of light for him. And I just want to encourage you that maybe there's difficulties that you faced in life. Maybe there's hardships. Maybe there's, many people face depression. Many people face struggles that not very many people even know about. But God can use that. God can use your struggles. God can use the hardships that you face. And there's a purpose. I believe that there's a purpose in it. There's a higher purpose. And if that's supposed to be, if that me having things in my life, if me having cerebral palsy is something for God to use, I want it to be done. I say that, it's not that I want bad things to happen to me, but I do want to bring God glory. I want to honor his name. I want people to be impacted by Christ. And that really is more important, because all the other things that we can accomplish in this life goes by the wayside if we don't keep Christ in the center place of our lives, and we try to live for him. All these other things don't really matter. It's about the difference that God can use you in the situations that you find yourself in. And even when it's hard, even when it's difficult, to know that God has a plan for your life. This beggar probably thought, this is all I'm going to do the rest of my life is beg, beg, beg. I can't see, I can't do anything, I can't work. But no, God had a plan for him. And God's glory was revealed in this young man's life. I don't even know if he was a young man. We don't know that for sure. He could have been an older man. He could have been middle-aged. But God's glory was displayed in his life. So I just want to encourage you today. I say that a lot, but use the things that you feel like are sore spots, or like Paul talks about, the thorn in the flesh, the things that maybe you struggle with or you have a hard time with, and you're like, God, I just want this healed, or God, take this away from me. Maybe God is wanting you to go through that and have that on your plate, because he's going to display his glory through your weakness. Let's have a time of prayer. Lord, I just thank you for this day. I thank you for this story of this blind man who was blind from birth, who done nothing wrong, who had not sinned and received his blindness because of something he did wrong. It wasn't his parents' sin that caused him to be blind. You had a purpose in it. You had a purpose to reveal that your son was who he said he was. And Lord, there's so many times where we can kind of feel sorry for ourselves, and I understand that. There's times where I feel sorry for myself. But Lord, many times there's a greater purpose to it. There's a reason why we struggle. There's a reason why we go through hard things. And Lord, I want to be an evangelist for you. I want to be like this blind man who went from being blind to being able to see, to recognizing who you were, who had faith to believe in you as the Son of God, and to my knowledge kept on speaking for you for the rest of his days. And he was a witness of what you did in his life. Lord, help us to be a witness. Help us to let people know of the goodness that we find in you. And through our weaknesses, Lord, we are made strong because of your power, because of your glory. So just use this. Encourage us today. Be with those that sometimes Mondays are not an easy day. Help this to be an encouragement to them, to know that you're in control and you're able to do great and amazing things. In your wonderful name I pray, Jesus. Amen. I hope you have a good day. Take care. God bless. And I'll hope to see you here soon. Take care. Bye.